tuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu.
The main objective of this conference is to stimulate the establishment and strengthening of strategic alliance among stakeholders to promote the generation, dissemination, and translation of research findings, building collaborations, networks, and harnessing partnership among in the region.
This particular conference has been designed to provide an opportunity to learn about the readiness of the East African region in using advances in science, technology, and innovation, and existent systems in higher education and research sector, as well as taking advantage of the academia, public and private sector linkages in advancing knowledge economy and addressing emerging challenges such as the case of corona pandemic.
The economic growth of a country also depends on the growth of science, technology, and innovation. This conference is a golden opportunity to reflect the exchange together on experiences in the field of research, science, technology, and innovation.
East African community aims to widen and deepen economic, political, social, and cultural integration in order to improve the quality of life of the people of East Africa through increased competitiveness, value-added production, trade, and investment.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, thank you very much, and most welcome to the rest of the program.
Distinguished participants, all protocols observed. I've already been introduced. My name is Dr. Maxwell Otim, and I'm going to be the moderator of this session.
Thank you, Dr. Otim. I'm Saidi Kibea, currently lecturer at the University of Burundi. I can say the STI policies have to match national development strategy and also the SDGs. In the policy of science and technology, we have to get other policies. For example, on Burundi and South Sudan, which might be at the first level, they have to see how to work with the Ministry of Industry to get a national quality infrastructure ready to attract investors.
Of course, we know the policy cycle, which begins from policy identification, agenda setting, policy development, and policy implementation, and even policy evaluation. So the problem was that contextually, the Ministry of Science was supposed to create an enabling environment for science, technology, and innovation, and through implementation of policies, and specifically the issues or aspects that were provided in the national development plans, NDP1 and NDP2.
The world is moving into the knowledge society as a result of the rapid progress made in science and technology. So scientists should strive to bring that transformation within the region by solving real challenges versus publications and the firm, but also collaboration and the partnerships is the norm in research when we want impact, especially where resources are scarce.
So literally one of the things that as partner states we need to very quickly think about is how we can bring our sources to really think on how our people can be helped during these very, very, very difficult times. Investment in science, technology, innovation is actually an investment. It's not for free.
And with those contributions, I want you to join me in thanking our panelists, presenters.
It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Gaspard Banyankibona to make his presentation.
The disruption caused by the outbreak presents us as a higher education subsector with an opportunity to build back better by sharing, enhancing knowledge, building competitiveness and resilience, and improving quality infrastructure for delivery of education and other related services such as research and outreach, community engagement, so that we can address unforeseen events with confidence in the future.
The objective of this project that employment and innovation-related digital skills of young people in the East African Community Partner States are strengthened.
We enroll the students who have the background in technology, but we apply the skills across in all cross-cutting areas.
So in terms of spearheading digital transformation, the NN of Uganda, RENU, introduced Metro Eduroam, which connected more than 300 spots with Wi-Fi across Uganda, so that students were able to access internet even when the university campuses closed during the COVID-19 pandemic.
There is need to relook at our digital health policies and strategies. There is also why, so that we have the guidance in terms of investments in this particular area, and also putting in place the bigger picture. There's also the need to increase investments in digital health.
Throughout history, science and technology have contributed to increasing human well-being. They are key enablers in efforts to implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
This plenary session with the theme Contribution of Science, Technology and Innovation to Industrialization.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The main areas I want to explore are inclusivity, sustainability, and industrial development. So when we look at inclusivity, Agenda 2063 envisions an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. In short, ladies and gentlemen, every challenge that we're facing today, there is a technological solution that we need to be ready to embrace.
Alongside appropriate technologies, we must have the requisite human capital. And if those two are in place, we still need affordable financing for the three interact together to meet market demands. But all this must be done under an umbrella of superior entrepreneurship.
We need to look at leverage the sustainability. One of the key areas to enable us to achieve the industrial, to use the technology and to leverage is on the energy future. For example, in Kenya, we normally find about 68% of Kenya national energy requirement is biomass based, and the reliance on wood, for example, in some areas is almost 95%. And so these are some of the things that if you want to take off, if you want to do things differently, we have to address.
The technologies developed since 1992, 93, there is a number of technological processes that have been developed and or adopted as part of it is research for technology.
The experience and best practices drawn from current literature indicate that investment in the capacity to create, spread, and adopt knowledge is a determining factor in ensuring long-term economic growth and development of any nation.
So I'm going to present on the evaluation of plantain varieties on youth. In Kenya, plantain potential has not been fully exploited, although the demand has been increasing. There have not been much production, and now this study was to find out whether there are varieties which can be promoted to be grown on commercial basis.
So what was the contribution of biofertilizers on crop growth in terms of stem count and the yield? In this table, you can see there was no significant difference among the treatments, but there was a difference between the negative control and the others.
So the research progress from these two findings from the government constituted this kind of review paper.
I would straight away try to put this in context.
by looking at the structural components of an ecosystem and their link to the health and well-being. And so the easiest way we propose is to try to solve some of this or to reduce some of this burden or to address this by use of rich biodiversity that forms the continent's natural wealth through capacity building. And this is very important because this sector thrives in Southeast Asian countries, for example. Why not in Africa? It is because the level of application of science in those countries is very, very high. And so we thought also we can do the same in Africa.
The summary of our vision at Farm Biotech. We are starting, but we have a bigger vision. We like to have capacity development of innovators and entrepreneurs, accelerate prototype development, and cooperation facilities for commercialization to establish. We are having contract manufacturing and industrial scaling of prototypes, and that is the phase where there is proof of concept for the economic viability of a product.
I want to just know, why didn't you use the data online from other herbaria from international level as like maize in Belgium or from Geneva?
There's a coordinate fund online to have a very model which can be a useful model for the distribution of plant species.
I am Dr. Alphonse Nkurunziza. I am from the University of Rwanda. So I'm happy to be in this conference as a moderator, and I will chair this session. We can start.
I will present you the results from the data envelopment, the technical efficiency. I will also present you the total factor, the result on the total factor productivity change. I can say that Kenya and Rwanda improved well in both modern. Uganda and Tanzania are catching up, while Burundi and Ethiopia decrease their performance. Electricity losses is one problem, the most problem for East Africa.
Recommendations: there's a need to carry out further research to establish seismic design parameters for burnt clay hollow blocks, slabs, and also to establish the earthquake magnitude that can be resisted by the slab.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this plenary session. Karibu Seli Musungu.
I'm here to present our research finding. This study involved the 3 regions of Tanzania that represents the ecological zones where maize are mainly cultivated. That is Arusha, Morogoro, and then Mbeya, as you can see.
Organic initiatives, those more certified or non-certified, can have significant sustainable impacts in communities.
Considering the seed number, you notice that indigenous tree species represent only with low proportion. But we have noticed that in order to know how about the relative importance of silviculture species used in Burundi, you notice that here, the different species of eucalyptus is the most represented, and there is no indigenous tree species which is used in silviculture.
I would say when selecting the samples, our first step was to, 1, identify where are organic farmers located.
Good evening, members. Welcome to our parallel session 3A about natural resources and environment. Let me invite our keynote speaker, Professor Sanctus Nirangira, the Vice Chancellor of University of Burundi.
The growing population and economic growth has had a lot of impact on natural resource and the environment worldwide, especially in developing countries.
And I would like to say that currently we have a lot of issues globally concerning climate change. And that's the reason why I'm talking about climate crisis.
And our research highlighted the local communities and show that the local communities recognize multiple forest ecosystem services and that some important differences can be observed between farmers and tour groups because of their livelihood, their different livelihood strategies.
So the role of science is and technology is applicable because I'm using the geospatial technology to be able to identify what has happened on the landscape through the 8-year period.
Yes, good afternoon, and I would want to welcome you for this session. Could we have Nicholas?
With the new trend that came in within the education sector as a result of the COVID-19, there has been a little bit of shifting from the ordinary way of teaching and learning and subsequently to the examination, the way exams have been done in several institutions.
This is the research I have done. It is a technology that it has some lower accuracies, or it can be communicated through short range because as you see for the pictures, it is indicating that the doctor can access every information from the patient where the patient is nearby him or her. So it is very easy so that if the patient has the pandemic, to spread it to the doctor. So that's why my project has come out.
So when we talk about ICTs, we are looking at issues like internet, like wireless networks, cell phones, computers, software, middleware, and so on. But the key word here, all enabling users to access, retrieve, store, transmit, manipulate information. The key word is manipulate information in digital form.
It is how good you're able to safeguard your information from the hackers that you're able to thrive. And so security is part and parcel of it. And so even when you come up with your plans of coming up with data centers, data recovery centers, I tell you, security is at the top.
My work is outlined to the 4 points I introduced first. Secondly, I will talk about the nuclear resonant forward scattering, Schrödinger equation for the complete system, fundamental complete equations. So this is the temporal and the spatial behavior of the nuclear part of the proton. In conclusion, the radiation emitted by a most power source interacts with an nuclei effective most power nuclei in a resonant absorber before leaving it.
I'm Jonas Bayo. I'm a PhD scholar in the Nelson Mandela African Institute of Science and Technology. Heavy metals are serious environmental pollutants that are normally encountered in mining, agriculture, and industrial wastewaters. And the extensive release of these heavy metals into the environment causes serious environmental problems because of their toxicity and bioaccumulation through our food chain.
What prompted us to do this research is the fact that Africa is fast growing and the population increases. As the population increases, there are also industrial activities that increases and thereby polluting the environment, especially with substances like wastewater. Therefore, there is a need that we need to look, since we are in a developing country, we need a low-cost material and a low-cost method for removal of heavy metals from industrial wastewater.
In the 3D form, we have 2 axes, the major and the minor, which were combined to relate with the preform diagram as well as the essentiality of the preform.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the EASTECO Friday session. Alan, please proceed as we wait for the rest of the partners. Tell us about the ecosystem.
We are here to talk about business innovation ecosystems, and as we are all aware, this is about a loosely interconnected networks of companies and other entities that co-evolve capabilities around shared technologies, knowledge, or skills, and work cooperatively and competitively to develop new products and services. And what do they do to unlock economic potential? How? Through increased physical access to markets, enhanced trade environment, improved business competitiveness, and through continuous business innovations. And the Uganda Healthcare Federation at the moment is working to digitize the private sector information systems and link this with the government and district health systems.
The community is implementing the customs union protocol, and we have now what we call a single customs territory. So this kind of adopting technology is helping already trade, is helping our business people to use less time and to reduce the cost of doing business.
The innovation from the prototyping to proof of concept is the biggest issue, meaning having access to industrial-like production at a low cost to test the market.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to STI in Transformation of National Productive Sector Economies. My name is Badru Ntege, and I'm going to be moderating this session this morning. We have a keynote speaker, who's Dr. Julia Sekurus, who's the program manager of BioInnovate Africa program. Dr. Julius, thank you very much for coming and joining us. Please take the floor.
So the title they have given me, and let me share my screen here, is STI in Transformation of National Productive Sector Economies. If you look at the sector contribution to GDP, you can see that we are almost uniformly contributing the same. Intellectuals have a special contribution to make to the development of our nation and to Africa. And I am asking that their knowledge and the greater understanding that they should possess should be used for the benefit of the society of which we are all members. So in conclusion, STI is critical for our growth, and using it to transform productive sectors requires us to take an innovation systems approach. And I think that each country should review and continuously reform its innovation systems.
And I think one thing that we need is that we need to have a means for monitoring and evaluation of our competitiveness. And of course, there are several models that can be used as we plan our innovations and the like. It should be aligned to the needs of the society, the consumer, or the problems that may be existing.
So in a nutshell, what they're saying that to counter volatility, you need vision. Scientists need to have a vision, an immediate vision. To counter uncertainty, you need understanding, and that means you have to have a lot of information, not in-depth. If scientists don't respond to COVID, then the world or the people will not have any trust in science.
It is true that science, technology, and innovation is critical in enabling our socio-economic development within each of our countries' region. And that is important because it enables our countries to grow economically and become competitive nationally but also regionally.
STI are universally recognized as powerful drivers for economic development as a key factor for poverty reduction, prevention of disease, and environmental conservation.
The East African Science Technology Commission, in collaboration with Inter-University Council for East Africa, held its second East African Community Science, Technology and Innovation Conference between 27th and 29th of October 2021 in this hotel in Bujumbura. And the presentations were done both in person and also in a hybrid system, also online.
We can only thank for Inter-University Council for East Africa and the East African Community Science and Technology Commission for having worked together to come up with this conference, which is very important as a platform to bring together scientists in our region so that they can guide on which is the best way to move forward.
This conference presents a significant opportunity to renew and reinvigorate our friendship, partnerships, and thoughts within the East African region. The time has now come to develop a technology-based and innovation-driven East African Community Master Plan for now and future generations, taking cognizance that other global economies have adopted science, technology, and innovation as the center of their security, public safety, and growth strategies.
EAC should add value to food crops by utilizing science and technology and private sector engagement.
This is not something I need to belabor. I'm preaching to the converted that STI is the only vessel that moves a nation forward. How are we scoring the goals? How are we actually getting these things to touch our economies, to touch our communities? We need to demonstrate practical feasibility to take the countries and the community to their destiny.
We need to put in place mechanisms that can enable our researchers to work collaboratively, closely, and know what is happening in each other. Keep on putting in resources in terms of financial resources, but also human resource.
I take this opportunity to confirm on behalf of the organizers and partners that the conference objectives were made, and allow me to congratulate you all and especially the partner states for the job done and well done.
I declare on behalf of Honorable Minister for National Education and the Scientific Research, Republic of Burundi, closed the regional conference dedicated to the whole of STI in EAC Regional Integration and Socioeconomic Development in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. May God bless you. Long live the East African community. Long live cooperation. Long live Burundi. I thank you. Asante sana. Merci beaucoup. Mwebalenyo. Murakoze cyane.